Welcome to Module 3. We're going to be talking about something very exciting, and as a project manager, this is a core of what you do, and it's all about project planning. So a project manager is synonymous to creating project plans. Like we know, if you don't have a plan for a course of action you're about to embark on, you're most likely going to have issues or fail. And it's important for you to have a plan for any project, and as a project manager, you need to develop competence in creating robust, effective plan that will guide all the work in terms of the task coordination, in terms of the scope, the schedule, the communication, the risk, so that you can deliver your project on time, on budget, on resources, and delight your customer every single time. So we're going to talk about why project plan is important. As I've said, it's very important because this is where you would work with your team to develop detailed plans that will guide the team through execution, through monitoring and controlling, to closure phase. It is the plan that you use to actually control your project as a project manager. And in your plan, you will define the things that revolves around the scope, the milestones, schedules, the risk management, and many more. It's important to understand the act of creating effective plan as a project manager. I said it twice, is so important, and that is why. I recall when I was working as a project manager with a fintech company back in Nigeria, I was given a project to work on building a mobile bank application, and the mandate based on what the sales and marketing team did with the bank was to deliver that project in 1 month. For people that know anything about building mobile app for a bank of that magnitude, that is an unrealistic timeline. And what I did was to create a plan itemizing the scope of work. What do we need to deliver the mobile bank application? So I worked on developing a comprehensive plan that listed out, not by emotions, not by sentiment, exactly what the work packages will be. We'll talk about that as we go. Exactly what we need to do, how long each thing we do, calling out different roles and responsibilities of the people involved in project, the stakeholders, and that helped us see exactly how long each role and each activity would take, and that more than 8 months worth of work. And I communicated back to the stakeholder, and it was clear because they could see, it was very clear that this is a robust plan. This is a list of activity. The only way this is reducing is if you want to reduce the scope. And that's why scope management is a critical part of project planning, right? Scope controls a lot of things because it is the boundary, the constraint, it is the specific objective deliverable for our project. So the scope defines what the project will and will not include. So things that are in scope and out of scope, right? Preventing any misunderstanding or scope creep. And as a project manager, you need to ensure that your project team, stakeholders are all aligned with what you're delivering on that project. So we have something called the scope statement, which is a document that defines the project deliverables, defines the objectives, the boundaries, and the constraints. So example, assuming you want to launch a new e-commerce website, the scope might include things like designing the homepage, setting up the payment gateway so that we can collect money, and ensuring there's mobile responsiveness for people that are trying to use it on their mobile. A lot of people engage with apps and websites on the mobile, so it has to be responsive. But we want to exclude SEO, service, and marketing campaign because that can be a different project. We want to be clear about that yes, we're going to build this website, but we're not going to focus on SEO and marketing campaign, because if you don't make that clear, it will cause some misunderstanding, because SEO is not something you do in one day. It is a continuous thing. Marketing campaigns is also a continuous thing to create that awareness about the website and product. So if you don't list what is out of scope, then you leave room for scope creep and misunderstanding that may taint all the work that you've done. And that is why listing the things that are in scope and not in scope is absolutely important for your stakeholder. And a way to help with our scope, we need to understand something called the work breakdown structure, popularly called WBS. If you're a project manager, you simply cannot escape this, because you have opportunity to use this, plan your scope. And what is this about? So your WBS is an hierarchical decomposition of the work, the project scope, into smaller manageable components known as work packages. So you may have the project, the overall project objective, but we want to break things down into what are the deliverables, what are the small components, the work packages that we need to identify. So for example, we may say build a website, that is it. But to build a website, we need to gather requirement for the website. Under gathering requirement, what do we need to do? We need to list out all the features or the unit component, all of those things. Requirement, make sure it's clear, acceptance criteria. Another branch of the work breakdown structure may be design. We need to definitely create prototype wireframe for the website so that we can implement the front end. Development, all the things we need to do, code the landing page, payment gateway, all the other pages that you need. Testing. So basically decompose all the work into work packages. By creating this, it will help everybody understand where they play, what they need to do, what the scope of the work, and avoid scope creep. WBS is a key deliverable in scope management process. So you need to know that in case you're taking a PMP course. And let's talk about time management. So time management is about we ensuring that the project is completed as per schedule, right? We've talked about the fact that project is a temporary endeavor and we need to sequence that. Sequencing the work, like what will start first, where are the dependencies, what needs to start before something else starts is very important. Just like you're building a house, you can't start to plan for roofing when the structure of the house is not there. That is the advantage of sequencing. So when you sequence the work in terms of what needs to start first, we call different relationship like start, end, start, finish relationship, and so on. And then we need to estimate as well. There are different estimation techniques that you need to know when we talk about time management. So all of this will help us definitely know and come about how long our project will take, but we need to be able to sequence the work, go into the critical part, and know exactly how we're going to deliver the project.